Hello everyone. In today's session, we will continue our discussion on design of band limited signals. In the last session, we have discussed on design of band limited signals with zero intersymbol interference by considering the Nyquist criterion. And today we are discussing partial response signals or design of band limited signals with controlled intersymbol interference. For zero intersymbol interference, it is necessary to reduce the symbol rate 1 by t below the Nyquist rate of 2 W symbol per second to realize practical transmitting and receiving filters. So, suppose channel is band limited to W hertz and we are using zero intersymbol interference, which we have discussed in the last session. So, the maximum rate at which we can transmit baseband signal without intersymbol interference is 1 by t equal to 2 W. So, this 2 W symbols per second is the theoretical Nyquist rate. For this to happen, we need to use a rectangular pulse in the frequency domain. This is shown in the figure here. So, here x of f, it represents frequency domain response. Here alpha represents roll-off factor, alpha equal to 0, alpha equal to 0.5 and alpha equal to 1 responses are shown. But for 0 ISI condition, we need alpha equal to 0 condition. So, basically it is a low pass response. So, it is very difficult to achieve this low pass response or this rectangular pulse in the frequency domain. It is very difficult to achieve. So, for a practical implementation, symbol rate 1 by t is less than 2 W. So, we need to relax the condition of zero intersymbol interference to achieve a symbol transmission rate of 2 W symbols per second. So, there is a drawback in the 0 ISI condition. That means, we need a flat response from minus W to W and 0 elsewhere, or in the time domain it is a sinc function. So, this is very difficult to achieve and symbol rate will be less than 2 W. If you want to achieve a symbol transmission rate of 2 W, then we need to relax the condition of 0 ISI. So, in this modified version or in this a partial response signal, we are using controlled intersymbol interference. So, this is introduced intersymbol interference which can be removed at the receiver section. So, this achieves symbol rate of 2 W symbols per second. So, in this session we will see how to use this controlled intersymbol interference in baseband signaling. Okay, the condition for zero intersymbol interference is x of n t equal to 0 for n not equal to 0 and x of n t equal to 1 for n equal to 0. So, only for n equal to 0, x of n t, that is normalized amplitude will be 1. This we have discussed in the last session. Now, suppose that we design the band limited signal to have controlled intersymbol interference at one time instant. This means that we allow one additional non-zero value in the samples set of all x of n t. So, now here we are discussing controlled intersymbol interference. So, we are allowing one more non-zero value at n equal to 1. Therefore, now the definition is normalized amplitude x of n t equal to 1 for n equal to 0, 1 and it is 0 otherwise. Now, let us define Fourier series coefficient Zn, and this Zn is defined as t into x of minus n t. Next, we will find various values of Zn for different n values. Now, put n equal to 0. For n equal to 0, Z0 equal to t into x of minus 0 t. So, this is equal to t into x of 0, which gives z0 value as t. Next, n equal to 1. For this, z1 is t into x of minus t, but x of minus t is 0. Therefore, z1 is 0. Next, for n greater than 1, z2, z3 etc., it is again 0. Next, for n equal to minus 1, z minus 1 will be t into x of minus 1 into t. So, t into x of t, this gives value as t. For n less than minus 1, we will get z minus 2, z minus 3 etc. 0. Therefore, summarizing all this, we can write Fourier series coefficient Zn equal to t for n equal to 0 comma minus 1 and it is 0 otherwise. Okay, next consider the equation z of f equal to summation n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Zn e to the power j 2 pi n f t, and substitute previously calculated Zn values. Okay, for n equal to minus infinity up to minus 2, Zn value is 0, and from n equal to 1 to infinity, again Zn value is 0. For n equal to minus 1, we will get t e to the power minus j 2 pi f t, and for n equal to 0, we will get t. Therefore, we will get final value as z of f equal to t plus t e to the power minus j 2 pi f t. Next, for t equal to 1 by 2 w, we will get x of f equal to z of f. In that case, we can write z of f equal to x of f equal to 1 by 2 w into 1 plus e to the power minus j 2 pi f divided by 2 w. So, the term 2 in the numerator and denominator, it gets cancelled. Therefore, we will get x of f equal to 1 by 2 w into 1 plus e to the power minus j pi f by w when frequency is in the interval minus w to plus w and it is 0 otherwise. So, this is the frequency domain representation of signal x of t. Okay, we have x of f equal to 1 by 2 w into 1 plus e to the power minus j pi f by w for frequency in the range minus w to w hertz, and it is 0 otherwise. And next, let us try to represent this in terms of cosine function, so that we can represent its magnitude response. So, next write 1 by 2 w into exponential minus j pi f by 2 w into e to the power j pi f by 2 w plus e to the power minus j pi f by 2 w for magnitude of f less than w. And next, represent this in terms of e to the power j theta plus e to the power minus j theta divided by 2. For that, take integer 2 inside the square bracket. So, e to the power minus j pi f divided by 2 w by w into e to the power j theta plus e to the power minus j theta divided by 2, where theta is pi f by 2 w. So, we can write this as x of f equal to 1 by w e to the power minus j pi f by 2 w into cos pi f by 2 w if frequency is within minus w to plus w and it is 0 otherwise. Next, let us find value of x of f for various frequencies. For f equal to 0, cos function is reduced to 1 and exponential is also reduced to 1. Therefore, x of f is 1 by w and it is a maximum value. And for f equal to w, we will get 1 by w into e to the power minus j pi by 2 into cos pi by 2. So, it is reduced to 0. And for f equal to minus w, we will get again 0 value. Therefore, x of f is 0 for f equal to w and minus w, and x of f is 1 by w for f equal to 0. In between f equal to 0 and f equal to w, we will get a cosine function response. So, this is realizable, whereas in 0 ISI condition it was a rectangular response, which is very difficult to achieve. So, by using this controlled ISI, we can design a signal and filter which is realizable. And next, from equation 1 we can write it as x of f equal to 1 by 2 w into 1 plus e to the power minus j pi f by w into rectangular function of f by 2 w. So, in equation 1 we have x of f value for magnitude of f less than w and magnitude of f greater than w condition. So, combining both, we can write it as x of f equal to 1 by 2 w into 1 plus e to the power minus j pi f by w into rectangular of f by 2 w. So, this rectangular function value is 1 in between minus w to w hertz, and it is 0 otherwise. So, this is the equivalent representation of equation 1. Okay, next we need to represent this partial response signal in time domain. So, for that, first write x of f as 1 by 2 w rectangular of f by 2 w plus 1 by 2 w rectangular of f by 2 w into exponential minus j pi f by w. So, to represent it in time domain, we need to take inverse Fourier transform. So, first term is rectangular function, its inverse Fourier transform is sinc function, because rectangular and sinc function are Fourier transform pairs. And in the second term, we have multiplied by exponential. So, here we need to use time shifting property of Fourier transform. Fourier transform of x of t minus t naught is x of f into e to the power minus j 2 pi f t naught. But here we have only minus j pi f t naught term, where t naught is 1 by 2 w. Therefore, multiply and divide by 2, so that it will be in the standard form. Once it is converted into standard form, then apply inverse Fourier transform. So, inverse Fourier transform of x of f is x of t. So, it is equal to sinc of 2 omega t or 2 w t plus sinc 2 w into t minus t naught or 2 w into t minus 1 by 2 w. In the next step, you can write it as x of t equal to sinc 2 omega t plus sinc 2 omega t minus 1. So, this equation, it is called as a duobinary signal pulse. So, here sinc 2 omega t, it has maximum amplitude at t equal to 0, and sinc 2 omega t minus 1. So, basically it is a right shifted sinc function, and it has maximum amplitude at t equal to capital T. So, due to controlled intersymbol interference, we will get this kind of signal, that is sum of two sinc function, whereas in the 0 ISI condition we had only one sinc function. So, here response is composed of two sinc function. So, impulse response has two values at the sampling instances, that is at t equal to 0 and at t equal to capital T. So, as you can see here, at t equal to 0 and at t equal to capital T, x of t is not maximum. So, it is only a partial response. Therefore, response to any one input pulse is spread over more than one signaling interval. At each time instant, response is only partial. Therefore, at t equal to 0 and at sampling instant t equal to t, at these two instants, response is only partial. Therefore, it is called as partial response signal. Whereas in the Nyquist pulse, we had a rectangular response, but here it is cosine response. This you can see in the frequency response curve, that magnitude of x of f. In that curve, it represents a cosine response. Here you can see that spectrum has maximum value at f equal to 0. So, its maximum value is 1 by w, and then after that towards minus w and plus w, spectrum decays. So, it decays to 0 smoothly, whereas in the 0 ISI condition it is a brick wall response or rectangular pulse. So, therefore, because of this smooth response and cosine response, it is a realizable filter. Therefore, realizable filters can be designed to approximate this spectrum. Therefore, a symbol rate of 2W is achieved in case of controlled ISI. But here you can see that high DC component is present, that is at f equal to 0 we have maximum response. So, to remove this we can use modified version. We will discuss it in the next slide. So, here actually this minus w and w we should actually interchange it. Minus w comes to the left side and w to the right side. So, please make that correction. So, here time domain and frequency domain characteristics of a duobinary signal is shown in the graph. Okay, next is modified duobinary signal. As we can see in the previous duobinary signal spectrum, there is a high DC component. To overcome that drawback and to remove the DC component, we can go for modified version, modified duobinary signaling. Here normalized amplitude plus 1 and minus 1 are considered for n equal to minus 1 and for n equal to 1. So, x of n t equal to 1 for n equal to minus 1 and it is minus 1 for n equal to 1 and 0 otherwise. So, again only two non-zero values are taken here. Next, for n equal to minus 1, sinc function will be 1 into sinc 2 omega t plus 1. Then, for n equal to 1, sinc function is minus 1 into sinc 2 omega t minus 1. Therefore, we can write x of t equal to sinc 2 omega t plus 1 minus sinc 2 omega t minus 1. Same procedure we have used for duobinary signaling. Next, in the next step, take 2 omega or 2 w as 1 by t. Therefore, sinc t by t plus 1 minus sinc t by t minus 1. Take common denominator. So, we can write it as x of t equal to sinc t plus t divided by t minus sinc t minus t by t. So, this is the time domain equation for modified duobinary signal. So, here it is a difference between two sinc function, whereas in the duobinary signaling it is sum of two sinc functions. Please understand this difference. And spectrum for this modified duobinary signal is given by x of f equal to j by w sinc pi f by j by w sin pi f by w if frequency is within minus w to w and it is 0 otherwise. So, here it is a sinusoidal function. In duobinary signaling it is a cosine function. Next, to derive equation for x of f, follow these steps. Substitute t equal to 1 by 2 w in the previous x of t equation. 1 by t will be 2 w. Therefore, x of t equal to sinc 2 w into t plus 1 by 2 w minus sinc 2 w into t minus 1 by 2 w. So, directly substitute t equal to 1 by 2 w, you will get this equation. Here we have two terms. First sinc function is, it is in the form of x of t plus t naught, and second sinc function it is in the form of x of t minus t naught. Use time shifting property. So, next apply Fourier transform and use time shifting property. Fourier transform of x of t plus t naught is x of f into e to the power j 2 pi f t naught, and Fourier transform of x of t minus t naught is x of f into e to the power minus j 2 pi f t naught, where t naught equal to 1 by 2 w. Therefore, we can write x of f equal to 1 by 2 w rectangular function of f by 2 w e to the power j 2 pi f into 1 by 2 w minus 1 by 2 w into rectangular of f by 2 w into e to the power minus j 2 pi f into 1 by 2 w. Simplify it, you can write it as 1 by 2 w rectangular of f by 2 w e to the power j pi f by w minus rectangular function of f by 2 w into e to the power minus j pi f by w. In the next step, we can remove the rectangular function, and separately we can write x of f for f less than w and f greater than w values. Therefore, next remove that rectangular function and write x of f equal to 1 by 2 w e to the power j pi f by w minus e to the power minus j pi f by w if magnitude of f is within w. If f is within minus w and w, then x of f is given by 1 by 2 w e to the power j pi f by w minus e to the power minus j pi f by w, and it is 0 otherwise. Next, we need to represent this in the sinusoidal function form. So, we need to convert it into e to the power j theta minus e to the power minus j theta divided by 2 j. For that, multiply and divide by j. So, we can write it as j by w into e to the power j pi f by w minus e to the power minus j pi f by w divided by 2 j. So, this is equal to x of f equal to j by w sin pi f by w magnitude of f less than w, and for 0 and it is 0 otherwise. Therefore, the spectrum is given by x of f equal to j by w sin pi f by w if frequency is within minus w to plus w hertz, and it is 0 otherwise. So, here clearly you can see that maximum value of this spectrum is 1 by w and minimum value is 0. Next, using this equation, we can plot the spectrum of modified duobinary signal. Okay. Next, the spectrum of this signal has a 0 at f equal to 0, making it suitable for transmission over a channel that does not pass DC. So, in the previous case, in the duobinary signaling, there was DC component, but here there is no DC component. Consider figure B here. Magnitude of x of f is 0 because it is sinusoidal function, and from 0 to w and 0 to minus w, in these two intervals it varies as per the sinusoidal function, and here magnitude is given by 1 by w sin pi f by w. So, this kind of sinusoidal response and cosine responses are realizable. Therefore, practically it is possible to implement partial response signals. Next, if you consider x of t waveform, here it represents the difference between two sinc functions, and x of t has maximum amplitude of 1 for t equal to minus t and minimum amplitude of minus 1 for t equal to plus t. So, basically it is a difference between two sinc functions. Okay, finally, we will define the partial response signal equation in time domain and frequency domain. So, by substituting specific values for n equal to 0, 1 and other conditions, we can get duobinary signal equation from this, and by substituting specific values for n equal to minus 1, n equal to 1 and other values, we will get modified duobinary signal equations. So, this x of t and x of f are the general forms. So, in general, the band limited signal pulses that have the form x of t equal to summation n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n by 2 w sin 2 pi w into t minus n by 2 w divided by 2 pi w into t minus n by 2 w and their corresponding spectra x of f equal to 1 by 2 w summation n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n by 2 w exponential minus j n n pi f by w if frequency is from minus w to w and 0 otherwise are called partial response signals. So, these two equations are called partial response signals when controlled ISI is purposely introduced by selecting 2 or more non-zero samples from the set x of n by 2w. So, here set x of n by 2w is a collection of samples. So, here we need to consider specific values for duobinary and modified duobinary signalings. So, the signals which are designed using this equation, the resulting signal pulses allows transmission of symbols at the rate of 2w symbols per second. So, in 0 ISI condition, in practical condition, the transmission symbol rate will be less than 2w symbols per second, whereas using partial response signal we can achieve symbol rate up to 2w symbols per second. So, in today's session we have discussed about design of band limited signals with controlled ISI, and in the next session we will see the probability of error for digital PAM detection and also symbol by symbol detection of data with controlled ISI. Thank you.